We're very excited. We got a sellout crowd here, 5,000 people, revved and ready to go.
Before Dana White became the world's most famous fight promoter, taking home the MMA award for leading man of the year since 2010, and making the UFC a global phenomenon.
Pound for pound, round for round, king I stand, legend for legend, it's on the line, God and man.
Before the MMA king would butt heads with many of his fighters, including Tito Ortiz, and more recently Conor McGregor.
Tito and I probably need to sit down and talk, like a couple of adults.
Before White built up the UFC from a bankrupt company to a $4 billion empire, bringing his net worth to an estimated $370 million.
I don't give a f***.
Before Dana went on the record saying that Ronda Rousey has so much money that she'll never need to fight again.
Excellent no. Look at this. Ronda's hurt here. No. She wasn't ready.
Which at the time of this recording is probably for the best. Dana White always knew what he wanted to do, and from the time he was 19 set out to be in the fighting business. It didn't take long for him to realize he was much better outside of the ring than inside one, and began managing and training future stars. But when the Irish mob came looking for big payouts, Dana had to cough up the cash or leave everything behind. I wouldn't mess with the Irish mob.
Cause you're a waster! A fucking waster!
Although seeing as I am Irish, maybe I have an in. What's going on, guys? My name is Michael McCrudden, documenting the life of UFC king Dana White prior to fame, here for you on Before They're Famous. We've covered other fighters in the past like Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor. Be sure to check those out. Also be sure to let me know in the comments down below who you want me to document next.
This ain't Survivor and vote him off. Beat him off. That didn't sound good, did it?
Dana Frederick White Jr. was born on July 28, 1969 in Manchester, Connecticut. He is of Irish ancestry and the son of Dana Sr. and June White. He and his sister Kelly spent most of their time growing up with his mom and her family, and Dana went to Herman High School in Maine, and soon couldn't hold back the fighting Irish inside him. He wanted to get into some scraps.
And I swear, I swear, you'll be shining into a bucket for 2 weeks after I'm done with you.
While at Bishop Gorman High, he went over to a neighboring school and convinced one of their kids to fight someone from his school. Even though there was a huge turnout for Dana's first organized fight, it wasn't exactly a success. Once the crowd saw the kid from his school was beating their friend, they all jumped in to help. Soon the whole crowd was going at it, and Dana got in some pretty big shit for the incident. He picked up the gloves when he was 17 and was boxing casually, but other than that, fighting wasn't really a part of his life. He was working in construction, paving roads, and then had a cushy job as a hotel valet, making decent bank and getting some benefits. But still, he wasn't happy, and he learned pretty quickly he didn't like working for other people. Because they hold back all the money. So 19-year-old Dana walked out the front door of that hotel lobby and never looked back. He got right into the fighting business, continuing his boxing. He was running gyms, he was refereeing, and training and managing other fighters. After working at it for nearly a decade, Dana finally owned a gym in Boston by the early 90s. Things were looking good, but a close call with the Irish mob was about to change all that.
The town was literally run for 50, 60 years by organized crime.
At the time, the mob ran a racket on most of the working class businesses in Boston, and sure enough, they came knocking on Dana's door saying he owed them $2,500. They gave him a few days to pay up, and if he refused, well, Dana wasn't interested in finding out what would happen. Now, this guy's no pushover, but he knows how to pick his battles, and he jumped on a plane to Vegas instead.
$2,500, I was 21 years old, you might as well ask me for $25,000. Right. I didn't have $2,500.
He left everything behind and in 1995 branched out from boxing to a new emerging sport known as mixed martial arts. He and his school buddy Lorenzo Fertitta both trained in boxing and tried a few jiu-jitsu lessons. They became obsessed, and while training, Dana was introduced to fighters Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz. He began managing them and was now working on the ground level of the UFC, managing future champions. But during events, he couldn't help but imagine how he could make the then obscure sport even bigger. At the time, the UFC had touted itself as the top dog in MMA promotion, but behind the scenes, things weren't looking so good.
Got into this huge contract battle with the old owner of the UFC, which lasted almost a year, and through that I found out that they were in trouble.
The UFC was almost bankrupt, and knowing this, Dana knew he could get the company for a steal. He called up the Fertitta brothers, who were doing well with a few casinos they owned in Vegas, and Dana proposed that they go into business together and buy out the UFC. They all agreed, and 1 month later, later, in January of 2001, the three purchased the company for $2 million. It was still a baby compared to the established world of boxing, but Dana saw huge potential in the brutal, all-out competition. With their casino connections, the Fertitta brothers were quick to get fights in Nevada sanctioned. All of a sudden, they made Las Vegas the headquarters for their empire. It would take 4 years and $44 million of debt until Dana knew the UFC would be a success. From there, it took the world by storm and turned into a multi-billion-dollar empire. So let's just hope the Boston Irish mob doesn't recognize Dana anymore. Maybe that's why he shaved his head. I don't know.
Because you're only a bitch, that's what you are, a fucking bagel.
As for the rest of the story, well, you know the story because this is Before They're Famous. My name is Michael McCrendon and we make all sorts of celebrity bios here for you on this channel. You guys requested this one, so I hope you enjoyed it. There's a few other people like Seth MacFarlane you guys have been asking for, so we're gonna get working on that. Anyone else, let us know down below. I'll see you guys in the next video.